this is the biggest project I've ever been working on here with the SCMP. This is a 3-part series which takes a really deep dive into Hong Kong's housing issue. This issue of subdivisions have long been existing in Hong Kong. Those who are living in those tiny spaces are actually the poorest and the most vulnerable. They need our attention. This is real. Hello, Tsang san, 你好啊，你打攪你啦。I'm Fiona Sun, and I'm a news reporter on the Hong Kong desk. My stories are mainly focused on social welfare issues, the elderly, the children, the underprivileged. So Mr. Tsang is divorced with no children. He moved into the bed space apartment, which is also commonly called cage home or the coffin home. And he now lives with 17 others, all men, in one flat. They share 2 bathrooms, and only one of them have a shower. And his space is so small that he cannot actually stretch fully or sit upright without hitting the wooden boards. There are actually more than 220,000 people squeeze their lives in those tiny spaces. The Hong Kong government has long adopted the policy of not phasing the subdivided unit out, but ensuring their safety. But the director of the Chinese State Council's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, Xia Baolong, set the city the target of eradicating all of them by 2049. So we decided to revisit this issue.
This part, yeah, for this part we can also use.
She still cannot afford. Yeah.
I'm Emily. I'm a news editor at Hong Kong desk. Growing up in Hong Kong myself, I know how our readers feels about housing issues in Hong Kong. Well, every one of us want to see a change.
Previous people only think the elderly, the poorest live in those subdivided units, but actually that's not the case anymore. There are some others, including young professionals, who also opt for those subdivided units for privacy.
Not everyone wants the subdivided units to be eradicated because some of them feel that, well, I still need a place to live, and this is the best I can find in town with my income and with my abilities. So they just want a home, and they feel it's okay for them to live there. We have a lot of figures and data published by the government. The first question we ask ourselves is whether this data is comprehensive and whether it's accurate, whether it really presents the whole pictures of the whole situation in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong has a lot of territory, but little space for...
The challenge is really to put them all together, to make sense, to smooth it out in a meaningful way. This is the part where we involve other desks as well. We really rely on the presentation, like the graphics, etc. We want our readers to get something out of it when they read it. So it won't be just a dry story with data. It will be something that they can relate and they can feel and they can act on.
Hong Kong has been through a lot these past 2 years, and despite all these challenges that are presented to many of my colleagues, they still feel the need to report and cover what's happening to the city in as fair and accurate and as balanced a manner as possible. They put aside their own personal feelings to bring these stories that matter to our readers because we believe it is important for them to have all the facts, to stay informed, to stay engaged.
I've been working on this project for about 4 months now, and during these 4 months, I've been visiting so many households who are living in subdivided units. It struck me that when I talk to them, they seem to me they have already grown numb. They don't feel anything else. They have already given up their hope.
The job doesn't pay top dollar, but it does offer meaningful work. This is a job worth doing because you're making a difference to the lives of ordinary Hongkongers in the reporting that you do.
I feel I owe it to the city that I need to do this.
What motivates me to be a journalist is quite simple. That's make the voice of the voiceless heard.